It is 12:59. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Tennessee Vols out of the college football playoff race after surrendering over 600 yards of total offense in a 63-38 loss at South Carolina. Tennessee was without starting middle linebacker Jeremy Banks on Saturday, and head coach Josh Heupel spoke with the media just a few hours ago and was asked about why Banks did not play if he would be available this weekend.
We anticipate Jeremy being with us here this week, and as far as what transpired and those types of things, at the end of the day, he wasn't available.
So Tennessee will head to Nashville to take on a Vanderbilt team that has strung together back-to-back SEC wins, including a 31-24 final against Florida at First Bank Stadium on Saturday. The U.S. men's national team kicks off its first World Cup appearance in 8 years in just moments. Nashville SC defender Walker Zimmerman in the starting lineup. Kickoff against Wales coming up here at 1 p.m. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once and your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Let's do this. Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. I guess this still counts as a victory Monday. I mean, for the Titans anyway. Not so much the Vols. Vandy got another victory.
Well, Vandy's
Two in a row,
they
man.
got it.
Hey, break up Vandy.
Wow, what a heck of a deal there, man, for them. That was awesome. Unfortunate for the Vols.
Boy. Let's check with our resident Vol, Lucas Panzica, and see if he's recovered yet. Sometimes it takes him a few days to recover from wins.
Well, he does have, black under his eyes. He didn't get a lot of sleep.
I don't know if maybe he'd gotten into a fight with somebody about NIL or something.
Nah, I fell on a helmet.
Stop that.
I fell on a helmet, and that's the truth.
Oh, you stop that.
What did he say?
I fell on a helmet.
Oh, my. That was the Butch Jones line there.
Yeah,
that was the Butch Jones line when asked about a potential locker room altercation.
Yeah, we 5 wins into 2 years of the Butch Jones era at Arkansas State.
I'm going to ask you guys a question. It's just off the cuff really here. Do you think coaches find it that they don't want to tell if guys have fought in the locker room on the field because it makes them look bad from their perspective? It makes it look like they're not running a good program. And that's why they don't like talking about it. Because, see, I look at it as like two brothers getting in a fight, and that stuff happens. And matter of fact, it may grow your team even closer together, just like your brothers getting in fights in a family.
We see it at training camp.
Right. So I'm just, how do you think coaches view it and why they are so protective? And I get it. Some of these guys now are, 18 to whatever, 20, Hooker's 24. But, just why do you think coaches do that?
100% to show they run a tight ship, show they've got control of things, because control is so big. But if guys are fighting in the locker room, I don't have any control. I think it's 100%.
But there are one-offs, and one incident doesn't mean you don't have control.
Yeah.
But the perception would be that you don't.
And you can't control the perception if that gets out. You can't control the narrative about your program if that gets out.
And then it
That
just
makes
burns like
sense.
wildfire on social media until the next big story comes along.
Dang.
So in the old days, in the 70s and 80s and 90s and pre-Twitter, guys would get into a fight. Maybe it would leak out, and maybe one of the beat writers would ask about it, and the coach would be like, "Boys will be boys," And then oh, okay, and then everybody just moves on. But now people would blog about it and tweet about it, and they'd podcast about it, and it'd come up on here. Me, Blaine. You and I spend a lot of time with each other. Do you see me as somebody who fights with people?
No.
Even H-Town.
Yeah, no. Somebody had to really pick a serious bone with you.
The last fight that I ever got into in my life was high school basketball practice. I guarded the same guy every day, and he guarded me. And at one point, I just said, I've had enough. Here we go. And we fought till the coach split us up. And then after the practice, I think we even went riding around in my truck and talked. But we fought in practice. I fought a guy. He fought me. We fought each other. You've been around me. When you're on a team with people, when you're in a band with people,
that happens.
When
you
you
disagree
work with people, you have disagreements. Yeah. It's okay to say, yeah, man.
Especially when you're competitive spirits are involved.
Yeah, they're fine now. Boy, what in the world happened though that was so bad that you're like, hey, Banks, not today.
No. You're not even traveling. You're not even traveling. This is a done deal. You are suspended for a game. And I haven't heard anything about an injury, or they could make up something and say he was injured, but they didn't even do that. Right. Yeah, he stepped on a helmet, or he stepped on his toe, or he fell down the steps, or something. They could have made up anything, and we would have believed it. I mean, I would have. So now I'm fishing for things. So really, if I'm just trying to figure out, if you're a coach in that situation, how would you have played this? Whether I don't believe anything about no power tee and he stepped on the tee, and that's a distract. I don't know who started that. Maybe it was started by the coaches so they could throw a curveball. I don't believe that at all. Now, not one bit. Not one bit.
If you and me just get into it, or if I'm the coach and a couple guys get into it.
Yeah, because you stepped on my Tennessee Titan T-shirt.
or any reason, an NIL deal or whatever all has been reported or speculated. I'm not going to, okay, now you were part of this. You got to stay here. You were part of this. You can go ahead and go. We're good. Hey, guys, patch it up. Yep. Let's get on to get your bag and let's get on the bus.
Kiss and make up. If not, both of y'all not playing. And when I say kiss and make up, I'm talking about let's hug. Let's have a conversation.
Shake your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Be men.
Well,
but I'm going to treat y'all like men.
Yeah. That's how I'm rolling this thing. Because now I'm taking sides. I wasn't there. I don't know what version is the true story. But what I do know is 2 people were involved. And, we don't even know. Maybe it was 3. I have no idea. Or 4. But now either both don't go or both go and play. That's it. So that's why I think the defense, speaking of all of that what makes me think that the defense played so flat. They felt like one of their players were unjustly suspended or couldn't play or travel, and another player wasn't, and then they came out looking like that. That looked like no team that was underhyped this entire season. Yeah. And everybody can talk about, 18 to 22-year-olds, this is what you get. No, not this team. They had looked as consistent can be. And yes, their defense, do they have holes, and do they have a pass rush? No. Or do they have elite corners, NFL corner? No. Or secondary? No. But that's been going on the entire season.
Right.
And they just didn't play with the passion that they needed. And you could say it was coaching as well as players, but ultimately the players are on the football field. So that was a performance by the defense that they looked like they were unprepared, and I know they were prepared. Now, you could have been handicapped a little bit by not having certain players out there and running certain schemes and everything else, but not to that level where South Carolina looked like a team they hadn't looked all season. And, oh, man, by the way, they looked like that because old Rattler got hot. The rattlesnake was rattling. And he looked like he had never looked before. Then I've watched him at Oklahoma. I watched him all. He has never looked like that. Matter of fact, if he looked like he's the best player in college football last night. That's what it looked like. And they came off of a loss. So their offense was inept.
Yeah.
So this was total difference. That confidence in their game plan and putting different people at running back and direct snaps and all of that. Great job by them. Beamer and crew, they did an exceptional job. And playing at night on the road, as I mentioned about the conditions and how loud it gets. And then the offense, they still put up, 35-8 or whatever it was. But they still look stagnant. Hooker didn't look as sharp early to me. Kind of sputtered at times, but then all of a sudden it seemed like he was getting a rhythm in different times in the game. I think they make an obvious point, and I think overkill for me on their offense is trying to force feed Tillman all the time. I'm like, man, is Brew on the field? I almost like I felt like, man, I could have lined up out there. And they didn't even throw it to the person. And then the other side rests whoever they're throwing to. So the 2 receivers on the other side, they barely get off the ball and just jog, and they're resting. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, man, they're force feeding him. I felt a little too much for me. Instead of keeping it just balanced all out. Still had some drops a little bit by Hyatt there. But you got to give hats off to South Carolina. Their defense, they have some NFL DBs. And I don't know their name, 24, number 9. They are going to be in the league.
Cam Smith.
And 28. And 28, all 3 of them. They have length, they can run, and they can cover, period. That's at the end of the day, they pass rush wasn't no better than UT's. They just had dudes that could cover. They had length, and they knew how they were going to play them. Especially number 9, and that's Smith. I think it's Cam Smith, something like that. Woo. He was legit. And then he got a couple penalties. He almost lost his gasket. I mean, he was out there looking bug-eyed. I was like, hey, man, this dude look kind of cray-cray. Watch out. Watch out. He's their best player by far. Yeah, so, hey, man, that was man, I hadn't seen that in a long time. That's why everybody refers to, and even Lucas, it reminded you back to when Butch was the head coach and how things just kind of fell off. I don't think that's going to happen here, but that happened in this game on defense. For whatever reason, everybody say, oh, well, one player. No, it's about the perception. We're dealing with emotional, young, still, college students. And they felt maybe that somebody was unjustly suspended and couldn't travel and another player wasn't. That's what that looked like, because that's the only way they could look like that. I hadn't seen that. That would never happen again. I bet you. Yeah, that was they were playing, but it looked like they were playing like they were at practice instead of playing like they're in a game, a live game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don in Nashville wants to join this conversation on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Don, what's going on? Thanks for checking in on a Monday.
Hey, guys, I appreciate you taking my call.
What's going on?
Excuse me, Jeremy Banks, he's a Memphis recruit.
Is it?
If I'm not mistaken, didn't he get kicked off the team maybe?
Yeah, he did briefly there, suspended. No, well, one time I know for sure.
So, I just don't want to defend Coach Heupel, but I think that looking at the background, and I don't know if you guys noticed, 24 Beasley, his backup, played exceptionally well. And, he was trying to be an emotional leader. I think early on in the game there were some clues that the defense, his head was not in the game. And I just wanted to reiterate what you said. South Carolina does have 3 NFL caliber DBs. There's no doubt. And but I just wanted to just kind of, I feel like Coach Heupel was forced to, probably, suspend or not take his, the leading tackler in SEC last year. Banks was the leading tackler. And, it was a big deal. And I don't think it's fair for Josh Heupel, Coach Heupel, to put that on Jeremy Banks as a player because he is a young man. But at the same time, the dynamics for maybe not 63 points, but the dynamics yesterday or Saturday were definitely off, and I think it's there's some history to it.
Thank you for the call, Don.
Yeah. No, and Banks is a starter. Beasley started all season too. Mitchell actually has been the person who they got from Texas, who at least this season hadn't. And I don't think Banks only got suspended one game or suspended one time for I don't know what was the case. It could have been multiple times. I have no idea, but I know it was one that was pretty serious. I think it's out there on the internet. But that's a tough pill. In any case, though, they still shouldn't have looked like that. I am sorry.
With everything that was on the line?
Yeah, that was mind-boggling. I just kept, I kept thinking about, like, it's that time when remember when Alabama was playing Clemson in the national championship game, and Clemson just kept going and going and going, and kept on thinking, man, Alabama's about to turn on this switch and then about to come out and just blow them out and just start playing like Alabama, and it never happened. That's exactly how I felt in this
Alabama
game.
blew them out. Or Clemson blew them out.
Yeah. Right. I felt like this was this game. Like, I kept waiting, like, it's about to start happening, and it didn't. That's exactly how I felt.
Power Kevin Dodd that you're talking about, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah, quadruple zero. Man, when I start giving you bad nicknames, man, with your twice daily. This is the reasons why I don't coach. Because I'd be like, he would get me fired. I got to go, man. Who gave me this dude? I mean, what are y'all talking about, man? He don't. I don't care what happened in the Alabama game. He got 3 sacks. That they still there. He need to be sacking Neil because he can't sack nobody here.
Let's sack this next segment coming up with Jimmy Hyams. He'll join us. Hey, Jimmy can tell us what's going on. He's got the 411, and we will get it all next from the man who does the sports talk show for WNML Radio in Knoxville.
Come on, Jimmy, go H-Town.
Watch out. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Lots going on in Knoxville. Why not just call somebody in Knoxville? Call the man in Knoxville, Jimmy Hyams, who joins us now at Jimmy Hyams on Twitter, host of the greatest named sports talk show in America. It's called Sports Talk on WNML Radio. Jimmy, how in the world are you doing, man? How is the overall mood in Knoxville right now?
Oh, it's not good. But I'll say this, and here's something that folks need to keep in mind. The more you win, the harder it is to accept defeat when it occurs. In other words, when you get close to a World Series and you lose in the divisional playoffs, if you get close to an SEC title and you lose it, when you get close to a Super Bowl and you fall in the conference championship game, it's harder because you're that close to it. So what Tennessee fans need to keep in mind is this has been a great season. Nobody expected Tennessee. Well, very few people expected Tennessee to be 9-2 at this point with wins over LSU and Alabama. So you got to keep it in perspective, as hard as that is. But it's still hard for a lot of folks to accept losing to South Carolina like that.
What is going on with the whole thing with Banks? I mean, it's just going to be speculated on until I guess it's going to be speculated on forever because I don't know if we'll ever know the truth. But what do you know about this deal?
Well, here's the truth. Here's what happened. Okay, I 100% believe this. On Monday, Jeremy Banks had an unexcused absence from practice. And there's a pretty good chance he was told right then, you're not playing this weekend. Then on Wednesday, there's a tee in the locker room, which is you're not supposed to step on it. And he stepped on the tee, and Hendon Hooker called him out, told him to do 10 push-ups. And Banks took exception to that. They had a bit of a disagreement. I do think Joe Milton might have interceded to break them up, but I don't think he got in a big fight with Jeremy Banks like some people are saying. So those two instances occurred. I do believe my sources on that. Now, one or both of those led to his suspension for the game Saturday. I don't know if he's going to be suspended for the Vanderbilt game or not. Coach Heupel's not saying, at least I don't think he said. But those two instances occurred, and one or both of those are the reasons he didn't play against South Carolina.
So where did the
So he got suspended?
Where did the NIL part of this? There's speculation that maybe some of this fight was about NIL money. Is there anything to that then?
I'm told that's 100% false.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with it. Look, I think we both know you can't believe everything you read on Twitter, the internet, whatever. And I looked into that, and I was told that's 100% false. That was not the issue. That's what I was told.
So okay, let me go back. You said it was two different incidents. So he got suspended for stepping on the tee in the locker room. One of the leaders addressed him. He's one of the leaders on the defense. Maybe they got in some push shoving or scrum or whatever, and so he got suspended for the game for that.
No, I said also on Monday it was an unexcused absence from practice.
Right.
So it was one or both of those instances that led to his suspension.
Jimmy Hyams, our guest here on Blaine and Mickey at Jimmy Hyams on Twitter.
Well, I guess with that being said, that still was no reason for them to come out flat unless we're talking about teenage kids. Let's say that Hooker is actually 24.
Yeah,
but emotions
Young
arise,
adult.
and maybe some of the players felt like both should have been suspended or both should play. And to me, that is the only answer to why the defense looked like that. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from South Carolina, but the defense hadn't looked like that all season, regardless if you have no pass rush, no elite secondary players, and they hadn't looked like that. They looked like they were playing at practice and not in an actual game. So what is your reasoning for why they look like that defensively?
I think every year a team has 2 or 3 games where they play poorly. Now, are you good enough to overcome it? Are you good enough to win when you play poorly? Georgia had that game at Missouri. Georgia was good enough to win it. Georgia might have had that game against Kansas State, and they were good enough to win it. Maybe they had it against Kentucky. Everybody has that game. I'll say this, though. There were flashes where the defense has played really good, Blaine, this year. There have been flashes where they didn't. I mean, Alabama scored 49 points on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really, from the Tennessee perspective, it's hard to envision how in the world you could be that bad on defense for basically every series. South Carolina had 10 full possessions. I don't count taking a knee or the end of a half or a game. They scored 9 touchdowns out of those 10 possessions. That's 63 points. That's ridiculous. I tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of the defense that played against Purdue in the Music City Bowl, where they couldn't stop them and couldn't cover them and couldn't tackle them. So they just played very poorly in that game. I don't know if it had anything to do with Jeremy Banks not being there. Had he been there, would the defense have played better? Probably. Would they have won? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, I don't know if there was a friction between offense and defense. And, again, I've actually been told that when he had the unexcused absence on Monday from practice, I'd been told he was informed you're not going to play Saturday. So, but I can't 100% confirm that. So that's why I'm saying it's one or both instances that led to his suspension.
Do you think that's justifiable in that you get suspended for a game over stepping on the tee and not doing the push-ups?
No,
regardless of what happened between both
suspended.
players not knowing.
But that may not be why he was suspended, Lane.
Right.
I've said this before. It might have been because he missed practice on Monday as an unexcused absence.
Right.
That might have been it.
What I'm getting at is when you have really elite players, the pendulum changes, as we all know, on how much you give forgiveness. Guess what? Nobody would have known he missed on Monday besides unless the coaches let it out. Right? So then you could say, well, he had an excused absence. So whatever the situation may have been, those two things to me doesn't equate to I'm suspending a player and he's not riding with the team. He was in an altercation, maybe was one of them, but that player actually plays the quarterback. And now we're talking about the quarterback of our defense, who's our best player. So maybe some players felt like that was some wrongdoing on the decision of the coach, regardless of who was right or wrong in the discussion of the T and everything else. Nobody was there. The two players are saying what happened and whoever else was there. So I'm just saying I just don't see that being a viable reason. If you want to, you can still take a player and play him with those two incidents. If you're a coach.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's your opinion. Now, here from the coach's perspective, maybe the guy. Now, here's the other thing too. Mm-hmm. Had there been any other issues in the past with Jeremy Banks about missing practice? Had he done other things to get in the
true, very true. Don't know.
So we don't know that, right? So here's the other part. So let's say he misses, it's unexcused, and the coach says, "Look, I got to sit you. I got to send a message. I cannot have you missing practice, and then what kind of message am I sending to my younger players?" We got rules around here, and you have to abide by them. And again, I don't know if there was something else previous to that. I'll get back to your other question. If the only thing involved was stepping on a tee and an altercation with your quarterback, do I think he should be suspended over that? No. But I'm saying there was more than just one instance that occurred. So does that help answer your question about the stepping on the tee?
Yeah. I mean, I found it just baffling that if somebody would have got suspended for just that, that's just really, and that's,
And I don't think he was.
Right,
Maybe
exactly. It's more to it.
Maybe he was on double secret probation and missed practice.
Well, maybe also his past history could lead to, hey, man, one more mess up. There you go. Mm-hmm.
There you go. And look, he's a good player. Now, having said that, he has not had a great year. He has not played nearly as well. Last year, he had 128 tackles. You know how many tackles he's got this year? 45. So, the 3 games he hadn't even started. So, he's a good player, but I don't think he's a great player. And I don't think he'd have made the difference in the game, my opinion.
Now, on to Hendon Hooker and how you thought he played, because there was times I thought he was a little out of rhythm there early on. But, and also what his career means at UT.
Well, he's done at UT. He's out. He's got the torn ACL. I did not think he was playing one of his best games. I think he was missing some open receivers. He was overthrowing on occasions. He missed Tillman, who was open. He missed Hyatt, who was open. It wasn't his most accurate game, but I'll say this. I have come to judge him on the curve. I'm so used to him being almost perfect that when he misses a few passes, I'm like, what the heck's wrong with Hendon Hooker? But, boy, what a great season and 3/4 he's had at Tennessee. Right there in the thick of the Heisman Trophy race. Now, I think his chances are gone now, but he was right in the thick of it. I hope he gets an invitation to New York. You got to be in the top 4 for that to occur. We will see. but I have nothing but great things to say about him. I think he's been a great quarterback at Tennessee. He's been a great young man. I made a comment to a coach the other day that used to be on Tennessee staff. I said, he's Tennessee's best quarterback, in my opinion, since Peyton Manning. And he said, whoa. He said, T. Martin won a national championship. I said, yeah, I know he did, and T was great. But I think this guy's a better passer and a more accurate passer than T. Martin. So, anyway, we had a little debate about that. But that just tells you how high in regard I hold Hendon Hooker.
No doubt about it. He done some great things there. Joe Milton now is the quarterback. Expectations for Joe Milton?
Well, it'll be interesting. I saw a couple of good things I liked in the South Carolina game. I saw him make some wild overthrows that concerned me.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him run a couple of quarterback draws that I like. The guy can run. Now, I don't know that I don't think he loves running, but he can run. He's a big guy that's strong and he's fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be curious to see how Tennessee alters its play calling to suit Joe Milton. One of the things I've noticed about Milton, he seems to have trouble with the short passes. He either throws it 140 miles an hour or he overthrows them. And I'm thinking his better routes are some of the deep routes that he throws or some of the deep crossing patterns. But, gosh, it just looks like to me when he throws it underneath, he's throwing almost an uncatchable ball or an inaccurate ball. So I'll be curious to see the play calling in that game.
No doubt about it. We're with Jimmy Hyams, the legend from Sports Radio WNML from 3 to 7.
It's interesting, Jimmy, and now Vandy winning a couple of games in Tennessee onto the backup quarterback. I mean, obviously Tennessee's going to be gigantic favorites in this game, but it has become at least a heck of a lot more interesting in the last few days.
Oh, gosh, yeah, in the last couple of weeks. So you got Tennessee. How did they respond? Look, you had the college football playoffs that you're eyeing, and now you get destroyed by South Carolina. How do you respond? And Vanderbilt, well, you beat Kentucky. And then you come back and you beat Florida, a Florida team that drilled South Carolina 38-6. You shut down Florida's run game. You got a punt return fumble touchdown, which certainly helped. You ran the ball well. Your quarterback Mike Wright's playing well. I was on a discussion with some folks the other day. They said on a 1 to 10 scale, what's your worry level for Vanderbilt? And the guy said 2. I said, hell, mine's 8 or 9 from Tennessee's perspective. I think this is going to be a really close game. I don't know what y'all probably seen the spread. I don't know what it is. But I think this is going to
17.
17? I see this as a close game. I think it's going to be a dogfight. Vanderbilt's feeling great about itself, right? And Tennessee's licking its wounds, and now they got a backup quarterback that, quite frankly, as much as I like his ability, I don't know how much I trust him yet. So I think it's going to be an interesting contest.
What's the best bold scenario case you think for this team now?
Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl?
That would be the best.
Yeah.
I think there's a case for that. It depends on what others do. Obviously, Tennessee has to beat Vanderbilt to be in that conversation. Tennessee hadn't been to the Sugar Bowl since 1990. They will bring 50,000 people to Bourbon Street, and some of them will make the game. Just kidding. And I know some people, well, Tennessee's not going to travel after they lost to South Carolina. No. They'll travel. They will go. They always travel. They do. They do an extraordinary job going to road games and to bowl games. And so I don't think there's any doubt Tennessee will sell a ton of tickets to the Sugar Bowl. So I think that's best case scenario. Probably LSU has to lose. You got Georgia going to the college football playoff. You got Alabama that's going to be in that conversation. It's going to be interesting to see. But I think that's best case. I guess the Orange Bowl is possible, but I don't see Tennessee falling beyond the Citrus Bowl. I think that's the worst case scenario.
All right. Jimmy Hyams filling us in on everything at Jimmy Hyams on Twitter, host of Sports Talk on WNML Radio in Knoxville.
Jimmy, just give me your broad view of just NIL in college sports. Your thoughts, good, bad, indifferent?
Well, I think there's a lot of good about it, and I think there's some that's not so good. Now, the good about it is we just saw didn't we just see a running back at Michigan, Blake Corum, say, I'm taking my NIL money and I'm going to buy turkeys for the underprivileged? That's
I
fantastic.
did see that. Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of good done by college athletes who have shown more generosity than a lot of adults with the money that they have derived from name, image, and likeness. Also, the flip side of that, I'm hearing there's dissension in the locker room at Texas A&M with
Mhm.
some of these incoming players getting significant NIL deals, some of the others not, and there's a big rift in the locker room, and that's one reason they won, 3 or 4 ball games this year. So I think there's some good and bad to it. I don't know that I'm crazy about seeing a guy sign a $2 million a year deal coming out of high school to go play in college. I think you should probably earn that once you got there. So I don't really like it as a recruiting inducement. I think that opens up a can of worms. But I do think that college athletes, not just football players, I'm talking about all college athletes, should have the right to earn some money in college. I think that's okay. So I don't think there's a perfect way to resolve this, but I do think that I've seen a lot of good with NIL so far.
Yes, we went with Jimmy Hyams, Sports Talk, Sports Radio, WNML in Knoxville. I guess one more question for the game, and that is, I didn't see any false starts, but it just seems like the offense still wasn't in rhythm and flow at times. And I don't know if it was because South Carolina was, disguising things, was it the crowd noise, but still the offense just hasn't looked like it does at home compared to on the road. Do you see any of those things, or am I just seeing that?
No, they've averaged more points at home than on the road. That is a true and an accurate statement. Now, having said that, it's interesting that we criticize the offense for only scoring 38 points on the road. Hell, if Jeremy Pruitt's team scored 38 points, it would take them 3 games. So
Right.
what we've done is we've raised the bar with the offensive expectations. Having said that, they have not been quite as sharp. They weren't quite as sharp against South Carolina. I think there were a combination of things. One, I think Hooker missed a couple of passes that he usually would hit. Secondly, there were some penalties. There were a couple of offensive holding penalties. There was an offensive pass interference. Typically, and I've tried to chart this, I haven't finished it, but I've charted this. Tennessee's drives are usually stopped by penalties or sacks. That's what gets them. If you look at it, those two things, if they don't score a touchdown, I'm not talking about just a field goal. If they don't score a touchdown, odds are, but a high percentage, I'm not quite to 90%, but I'm in that range right now. 90% of the time, it's either a penalty or I've lost my train of thought.
What stops their drives?
Yeah, the stops the drive. It's either, but a penalty is one of, or a sack. Penalty or sack. Those are the two elements that are the common thread of Tennessee having one of its drives stopped.
Well, you just said percentages. It made me think about how many Tennessee fans are going to be at Vanderbilt. What percentage would you say? 80, 90? I don't know. What number are you going to give it?
Not as many as if they'd beaten South Carolina, I can tell you that. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think as many will travel. It's going to be a night game, 7:30. A lot of folks, if that had been a noon game, I think many of them would drive over there and then drive back to wherever.
Okay.
I would say Tennessee 3-1 on number of fans versus Vandy.
Well, Jimmy, no matter what happens, we know you'll be covering it and writing about it and talking about it on WNML. Always great catching up with you, buddy. At Jimmy Hyams on Twitter. People can follow you there for all the latest stuff. Thank you, sir.
Mickey, Blaine, thank you, guys. And, hey, don't step on my tea.
There is no
Stay
tea.
away from my power tea.
There you go.
Appreciate you, Jimmy, man.
You
Thanks.
guys, take care.
There is an I in Jimmy, and don't step on his tea. All right, we come back. I was looking at some of the Hendon Hooker stuff, and there was a number that really stood out to me, and then a number that could have stood out to me even more, and I'll tell you what that is next. And you want to talk about any of this stuff, you're a Tennessee fan, how you coping with it all, open phone line, 615-737-1045. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Hendon Hooker.
Bing, bing, bing.
God bless him. Torn ACL out for the rest of the season.
What a
He
heck
threw
of a
for
season.
6,080 yards. Lucas, do you know where that places him all time at UT? And he didn't play 2 seasons full.
Ooh, I'll say top 6.
Where did it put him?
It put him 8th. If he had finished, he was like 300 yards. He would have been 6th. If he could have finished with any numbers at all. Now, I don't think he could have been 5th. He could have been 6th in school history in 2 years. I know it's a different world. I know they throw it around the yard. I know all that.
Surprising to you, or is that just because they're passing offense? What do you think, Mickey?
Well, those lists and records can also be a little misleading because he's right behind Jarrett Garantano.
Yep.
I think he's like 10 yards back of Garantano, and Garantano was just at Tennessee for what felt like centuries.
He was a compiler. Garantano
Right.
He played a lot for a number of years, and he compiled. Heck, then he went somewhere else and compiled for another season. But still, to be 8th all time, he ran for over 1,000 yards. He had 68 total touchdowns. He only had 5 interceptions. This dude, he's special. He did this in 21 games, guys, in 21 games. And had he gotten his, what would he have had? A game against Vandy in a bowl game, he would have been 6. So in 23 games, he would have been 6 all time. Just an amazing career for this dude. He needs to be in New York for the Heisman ceremony. I know he's not going to win. He's not the 4th best football player in America. That dude should be there.
Do they only take 3 now, or is it 5?
1 year they only had 3 people there,
I know.
but I think they can have up to 5.
Yeah, it varies. There was 1 year, 2010, they had 2. Cam Newton and LaMichael James, the running back from Oregon.
Oh,
They had 2 Heisman finalists that year.
Michael James.
And it was the biggest landslide Heisman of all time.
And LaMichael James spent the whole week like, man, I'm just going to eat the free
enjoy
meals.
it, yeah.
Because this is
I wonder if people just decided not to go.
Well,
they invited him.
That year I would have been like, I ain't coming because we all know.
Right.
Hey, man, I ain't coming. I would go, though, just for the exposure. Like, go and eat the free steak and live it up for a week. 100%, man.
Hey, man.
Let's take a couple of these phone calls on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Jonathan in the Borough wants to talk a little Tennessee.
Thanks,
ball.
Lucas.
What's up, Jonathan?
Oh man, just look at my wounds. Hey, I'm a proud UT fan. Have been my entire life, and so I'm talking a little bit, but my heart hurts worse for Hendon than it does for the entire team, if that makes any sense. But my question is how, when you're a school that plays in front of 101,000 people like they had this year, how can an opposing school's crowd affect you when it's lesser, when you're used to hearing that noise from your full house? And I know it's a different scene. You're yelling multiple expletives, I'm sure, but just kind of wanted to throw that out there and get hear what you guys have to say. I appreciate it.
Hang in there, buddy. Thank you for the phone call.
What's he referencing? Crowd noise? Well,
yeah,
at home, crowd noise they're not loud.
They don't yell when you're on offense.
Right. Yeah,
yes. He's saying, well, Tennessee's louder. It's more people there than anywhere. How is it? It's because they don't yell when you have the ball.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's the different part of it. Yeah, it's loud, but not when they need to be quiet. And they may cheer after a play, but they're not cheering actually affecting the game as far as offensively. That's really the only difference. So that was my big question, really, even going into games. Did they remember I asked if they're going to do anything different for the crowd noise, and they was like, nope, they just didn't execute. So basically you're saying that the players just didn't do what we did. And they didn't have any false starts or anything yet, but it was times it was really loud. I mean, man, I wasn't there, but listened to it on TV, it seemed like it was a ruckus environment. And it always is, especially at night there.
Yep. I've never been to a game there. I would love to go. Everybody who's ever been to South Carolina said, you would not believe how nuts this place. If they've won 4 games or 8 games, people don't care. Yeah. They pack it in and they go crazy, and that's awesome, man. I mean, that's awesome. Beamer buys into all that too. He likes to get them riled up.
He brought it, man.
Eli in the Borough will finish up this hour. Hello, Eli in the Borough.
Hey guys, I just want to say one thing first, man. I'm a lifelong Vandy fan, and you'd have figured Josh Heupel killed a whole box full of puppies, man, with the way these fans are acting. Y'all have 9 wins. Keep your head up. And Blaine, I was wondering what you were seeing out of these Vanderbilt Commodores linebackers and stuff on why they were playing so good these past 2 games, because they've been playing lights out. Anthony Orji being the leading tackler in the SEC and the whole league, and C.J. Taylor getting in there on the sack too. I'll take your thoughts and hang up and listen.
Thank you, Eli.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of Vandy to this last game, so I can't really say. He said over the last 2 or 3 games, I can't say. So I'll definitely be paying attention to him in this game, though.
Well, they held Florida to 45 rush yards.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that game, too, but not individual positions there.
Like not watching it to scout it, watch it.
Yeah,
just watching it to watch it.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And their defense has played, lights out. I mean, really, the last couple games is kind of interesting just kind of to watch them. And in the Florida game, that's who Milton is somewhat of a version of Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
Just not probably quite the athlete as Richardson, but as far as just pure cannon arm, probably has a stronger arm, just not as mobile. But he's mobile, not as Richardson, probably not quite the athlete. But I kind of think that's the kind of offense maybe you should be running, how you curtail it to kind of Milton to help him be more effective, because he's got some skill sets. And to be honest, NFL scouts will probably drool more over Milton's skill set than actually Hendon Hooker. And that sounds crazy to say, right? Because they feel like we can curtail his arm. We can figure that out and get accuracy, hopefully, on some of those mid-range things. It's kind of like that's what Josh Allen was when he came out.
Mm-hmm.
Big, strong arm. Can we contain it? And he was like a 50% or something, 59 or whatever it was.
50-something%.
Yeah. And then now all of a sudden he's evolved, and, hats off to him and his quarterbacks coach and whoever else he's working with maybe in the offseason. So, yeah, this is going to be one that's going to be super competitive. And Vanderbilt has a lot to play for because they're trying to get the 6th win to get in the bowl. So this was going to be interesting.
Yeah. That game got super interesting with the events of this weekend. And like Jimmy Hyams said, when Milton came in, he was overthrowing everybody.
He was. Yeah, I mean, he was. And a lot of it, I really believe, is his – you're going to hate this. He just stands there and then all of a sudden reacts to throw. It was like, yo! I'm like, that one he threw over Tillman in the end zone. I'm like, oh, my God. Tillman was acting as he was going to jump. He's like, man, I have no shot at getting this.
This is crazy.
It's
like
like
the outfielder with the home run.
And by the way, that play, they replayed it. The corner went off the field because they had too many men on the field. Nobody guarded Tillman. And he just ran a go, and he couldn't even drop it in the bucket. Nobody was there.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, come on, buddy. You got to be able to make that one, man. Come on. So I think his reaction, I just think he needs to just go through a really serious quarterback camp, maybe Peyton Manning's deal, and he would be fixed immediately. Look at his arm and his legs all together. Because when he's outside the pocket, remember when he rolled out and he threw the deep ball to Squirrel, right? That ball was on the money. That's a harder throw. But because of his skill set and his strong arm, all he got his shoulder square and just flicked it, and that thing took off. He threw one ball 70 yards.
Oh, I've seen it.
I was like, oh, my gosh.
Just
we need to. I get why some of the coaches go, we can work with this. I mean, man, but hey, after so many times, man, this guy's gonna get me fired. He keep overthrowing these guys. We need a longer field. We need 2 fields.
All right, we need 2
Maybe
segments.
a World Cup field.
And we got a whole nother hour's worth of segments coming up. So here's what we'll do. We'll take a break. Chris in Nashville wants to talk college football. If you want to do that, you want to talk about the Titans. We haven't even gotten into the Titans this week, and they're 7-3. We'll do all that next. And Ding Dong of the Week. Hour number 2 comes your way next. Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. What a weekend. Titans
One to
were
remember.
off. They were on their mini bye. The Vols defense was on a. I'm sorry. They were on a mini bye.
They were on a mini bye.
They were. South Carolina just scored again, I think.
Wow.
What was the deal? They scored on 9 of 10 possessions that didn't end to half a touchdown. Was that it, Lucas? Shaking your head?
Yeah, they got stopped once. They got held to 1 3 and out. Every other drive was not just a scoring drive, but a touchdown drive.
You ever been part of a defensive effort where it's like nothing works and everything the other team's doing works? Where you're just like, hey, man, they're shooting warheads and we're just throwing rocks.
I don't know. I probably have. I felt like there probably at least a handful of games, but I'm sure they didn't score every time.
Not 60, but yes.
Yeah,
but just the afternoon where you're like, we got nothing.
Yeah, I've definitely felt that before. That's the worst feeling ever. And so, at least on defense, that's why I said they look like they were at practice, not playing at a tempo of a game, because at some point you're going to get lit and you're going to get pissed off. And regardless if you're making mistakes or not, you are flying around. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody on defense, that's one thing you can't control besides, them making plays on you. And if you got out-schemed, out-coached, or you got out-played, then you can live with that. At the college level. So, I felt for them, but they weren't flying around. It didn't look that way. Now, I'm not going to say all of them, but they were definitely in the secondary. It looked, man, I was like, man, this secondary looks rough. I don't know. Like when I just mentioned that South Carolina has 3 guys in the secondary that's going to be in the NFL, I can't say that about the NFL. I mean, for the players on the Vols. And pass rush comes with it. I mean, Rattler was on fire, but, man, he was going through progression reads. They would show that headshot from behind, and he was going boom, 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 and letting that thing fly. And it was just like, wow, that's just the Rattler I think everybody was talking about was a Heisman candidate. And he did it consistently, not 1, not 2, but 6 times. He threw 6 TDs, right?
Yes.
And that was phenomenal. Man, besides the Bryce Young hooker that I've watched, those are some great. That was a great performance by a quarterback. That looked great. I was like, man, the Titans. They may be interested in him down the road. You never know. He's a senior.
I think he is. He still has time left to play.
Okay. Well, here's what I will say.
He is listed as a junior.
Like no jokes on this. Hooker tore his ACL, right? That means he's going to be a Titan.
Oh.
I'm just saying, man. Hey, it may turn out to be a good thing for him. They can get him, later pick and don't rush him. No need.
And got another guy that can't rush either. Quarterback.
Couple years. Well, sometimes competition breeds the best out of you. If not, then we realize what you ain't got. So, I mean, especially if you can get him, I don't know where he may go now, to be honest, with the torn ACL. Being a quarterback, a lot of people they feel like it would be no problem, but, maybe go mid-rounds, 3rd through 5th. I would take a flyer. If he's still hanging around there 5th round, nobody took him? Oh, come on, no. I got to do it.
He won't.
I can't say what he won't. I don't know. These NFL people watch this. How many pro quarterbacks has Heupel produced in this offense? Not just the UTs, Central Florida. We go down to how many has he produced? And see, some people are going to say that doesn't translate to the NFL. So he already is fighting a battle. Has it been one?
Is Drew Lock his guy when he was at Missouri? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And look how he's done in the league.
Yeah.
Where is he at? He's on the bench. He's number 2. He's
behind Geno, right? In Seattle now. Yep.
So some may say they may hold it against him. And then he won't get to do the combine, and he won't be able to perform.
He can't do anything.
He can do the interviews.
Yeah,
and he's going to impress there.
And then everybody's going to pull on his leg and flip it around.
Oh, that is the worst.
And that's going to happen, right?
They tore my ACL just looking at it, tearing it and pulling it and man. Oh man!
But they do that. Like, people need to know. You go get pulled and pushed and prodded by everybody's doctor, right? Like everybody's doctor can do it, correct?
Oh yeah, man. It was just like, hey, how many of y'all gonna do this? You sure you never tore your ACL? No. Do you see a scar, bro? Come on, man. I mean, really? Quit pulling on my knee. You just subluxed it, man. And watch this. Is that a word? Something like that? But go, man. What are you doing? Oh, it was the worst thing.
Checking out those bow legs.
Well, yeah, exactly. They say, oh, well, we know bow-legged guys has a tendency to. Nope, I haven't. Never had an issue. None. So, yeah. So they said they can't make a bow-legged replacement.
Did you just show them a picture of you wearing high top Avias
No,
in high school and said, "Look, this is what I play through"?
No, I did. They was like, this guy can't play.
If people wonder how crappy turf was when you played, people wore sneakers on turf sometimes. You did.
Yeah, for high school. I never did that. I may have wore some like tennis shoes one time. Like, yeah, I did.
As an Oiler on that piece of concrete covered carpet?
I did. I felt like I could fly with the wind. Ooh-wee. And then my knees was burning afterwards. I was like, I don't think I'm doing that again. Yeah. No, and then what is it called? They don't do this now. The Cybex machine. Is that what it's called? Where you go, you push your knee up and back and your leg. Oh, man, they did that the day I did my 40. I was like, man, my legs are exhausted. I don't think they do it anymore. They test, yeah, like I think it's called a Cybex machine.
I never got Cybexed.
Yeah,
I never required that level of testing.
I was exhausted. I could barely walk after that. I had 2 more hours. Go run your 40. Oh, thanks. You just screwed me. Yeah, you just sitting there going, dang.
You still put up pretty good 40 time.
No, it was 4.58. That was not good.
Well, you jumped out of the gym, though. Your jumping legs still work.
Yeah, they were 4.5, whatever it was. It was not my best performance. I thought I was running fast, though.
I bet you were hot when you saw that number.
I was like, man, somebody got something wrong. Right. I've never run a 4.5 anything, man. What are y'all talking about, man? I've been a 4.4 since I was in college. The freshman year, man. What are you talking about?
You could have gone in the 7th or the 6th round.
They said, well, he's a late round. He's a late rounder. But that just sold it up. We was liking him until then.
Isn't that crazy? We got all this film for this guy of years of just excelling and playing for Ball State, but going to Wisconsin, all these places, and playing, just balling out. Yeah, but your 40 wasn't what we hoped. So we'll see you in the 7th or 8th round.
It all worked out. And the next thing you know, they moved me to safety, and I'm just like, oh my, this is not fun.
All right, here's what we need to do. We'll do Ding Dong of the Week next in the next segment. Chris and Philly Mike, hold. We will get to you. We'll take your phone calls first. We have Predators tickets on the line. Is that right, Lucas, for Ding Dong of the Week? So you want to win some Preds tickets. It's time to bring out the Ding Dongs, people. That's all coming up next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Time for Ding Dong of the Week. We'll get to our Ding Dongs here in a second. You can go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Just pack. Just tell Mark Spain, come buy this rascal. I'm getting out of here. You can go somewhere warmer if you want to. Wherever you want to go. It's your world. You and Mark Spain are just living in it together. All right. We have a giveaway for, would you say, the biggest ding dong this week? The best ding dong? I'm just trying to think of how to say this.
The biggest ding dong?
Smashville, call in with the ding dong of the week for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Nashville Predators host the Anaheim Ducks November 29th at Bridgestone Arena. 615-737-1045 is the number to call in to give the ding dong to win the tickets. We're not just giving them away. Inevitably, the phones light up, and Lucas has got to tell y'all, no, we're not just giving them away to like the 17th caller. Got to have a Ding Dong of the Week candidate. It's the way it goes. Philly Mike was on hold. I want to take Philly Mike's call first because he's waited the longest. Then we'll just get into the Ding Dong calls. We'll give ours as well. Philly Mike might even want to give a Ding Dong as part of this phone call. Hello, Mr. Mike.
Oh, all right. What's going on, Blaine and Mickey? Always enjoy you guys, man. Great seeing you on the remote a couple months ago, man. So keep it rolling.
Great seeing you too, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. One of the things that I always was mystified about, I played college basketball, and whenever we had a squabble, we worked it out among players.
Mm-hmm.
And, for Tennessee to practice since July, you're wasting 4 months of practice, weightlifting, traveling, and all that stuff, and to have it come out in a game is really sad. So I'm going to give a ding-dong to the Tennessee, the quarterback, and to the linebacker for having a feud this time of the year, which is, you're going for a title. You're going for a championship. So I know those guys are young men, but come on, fellas, man. That's my ding-dong on the week. You guys keep it rolling, man.
Appreciate it, Philly Mike.
I like it. Agree. Yeah, no doubt. Everybody involved.
The whole situation is ding dong. The whole situation. Hey, man, let's get our arms around this. You're trying to win a championship.
Yeah. I would have had him kiss and make. I would have had him. I would have made him hug, and then I would have made him run every day after practice.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They would have been out there playing. I'm sorry. I know that sounds horrible, man, but hey, man. If that's the case, if it was over what they said, I'm not. I cannot be suspending one of my better players.
I'm going to suspend people the week of the UT Martin game. I'm going to suspend people when we play the Citadel.
Well, that's what they did.
No offense to the Citadel or UT Martin.
Which is not resolved yet, a legal issue, though, but with the McCullough deal, right? He didn't play one of the – I want to say it was a UT Martin game.
That's when you suspend people.
But
and you suspend people when you play Arkansas State, what are we doing here? Let's get to some of these ding-dong calls. Again, Predators tickets on the line, 615-737-1045 on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. We will share our ding-dongs with you, but first you will share your ding-dongs with us. Eric, up first. What's going on, Eric?
Hey, guys, nothing against your prize. I'm actually taking myself out of the running because there's something else I really, really want to win with tickets Richard wanted to sell. And if you give away that, that's what I want to win. So I'm taking myself out of it.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Easy.
Goodness.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, guys.
Hey.
Oh, man.
Yeah, guys, sorry.
Come through the mic,
guys, I'm sorry. Yeah. I've got two. No. I just went down my pipe wrong. I'm sorry about that. Guys, I've got two ding-dongs. One sports-related, one non-sports-related. My sports-related ding-dong actually goes back to last Monday night and officiated in the Washington-Philadelphia game. We can debate about that last call about Tanny Heineke and the way he got hit. But definitely the fact that I guess it was Dallas Goedert, now he's out hurt with an injury. He got his face mask yanked and fumbled the ball, and there was a referee right on the spot and didn't call it. It was in his line of sight. I mean, that's ridiculous. It should have been a penalty, and they should have kept the ball. So that's my first ding-dong. But my other ding-dong, which is not sports-related, I got to throw this out, and that's this whole fiasco of the Taylor Swift concert with Ticketmaster.
Oh.
It is just insane, guys. I mean, I don't blame her because it's not her fault for what guys, I'm sorry. It's not her fault for what happened, guys. It has to do with Ticketmaster and the bots. I've heard tickets are over $10,000 or more. That is ridiculous. And I've heard it's $45,000.
Oh, my.
Y'all have a great Thanksgiving.
Okay, yeah. You have a great Thanksgiving. Don't get choked up on that food on Thanksgiving, man.
Somebody check on our man. Somebody drop off a glass of water. for our man, Eric.
He made me want to get a drink right now. I'm getting my drink right now, water.
Eric, I hope you're okay. This is not funny.
Well, that's the worst bull right there, man. That sounds like me after running some sprints. I can't even talk.
Oh, man.
I'm exhausted.
Eric.
I can't
Y'all know Eric. Somebody take him some water. Check on him. Adam in the Borough up next. I hope things go better with this phone call. Adam, I hope you're doing okay.
Yeah, I'll try to follow that.
Well, good luck.
It's easy to follow back with, right?
I just had a bottle of water, so I should be good to go.
All right.
Anyway, my ding-dong is Zach Wilson. How can you say, as the quarterback of a team who put up 2 offensive yards in the second half yesterday against the Patriots, when somebody asks you, do you think you did your defense wrong? And with a straight face, you're the quarterback of that franchise, say, no, take no responsibility. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I think that's ridiculous. Take ownership.
Yeah.
You suck.
Yeah.
That's all I know. That's all I got, guys. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
that was shocking.
Thank you for the phone call.
Oh, man, he need to retract that. He need to have another press conference. What do you mean? Matter of fact, he should have started out, let alone my team. I disappointed myself, my family name. I mean, yeah, hey, man, I didn't have my A game. Sorry, man. Hopefully it will not happen again. Matter of fact, I'm going to make sure it won't. Man, that was stunning, man. That was... And that New York media is going to eat him alive.
They are doing
that down.
They already doing it. And here's the thing. I mean, this is 2 first-round draft pick quarterbacks in a row. You don't even have Darnold anymore. You shipped him to Carolina. Then you take this guy. I mean, one drafting and missing on one quarterback has the potential to – well, I'll say this. People always say if you miss on a first-round quarterback, you could set your team back, 5 years. Think about the Titans. I mean, Mariota wasn't necessarily a miss. It ultimately didn't work out to the level that everybody wanted. But you pick up Ryan Tannehill, and then you just plug him in, and then seriously, you can say what you want about Tannehill, but you talk about fixing him.
Been in the playoffs.
You talk, yeah. You talk about fixing something. Well, I mean, we got Ryan Tannehill. We got the Dolphins to pay part of his salary. We traded, some kicking tees and a half a bottle of orange Gatorade.
So all those first-round misses by JR, then that's what you point right back. Well,
I mean,
we got a quarterback. We got a quarterback, man. We don't got nothing. We got that working.
T.R. Tart, you didn't even draft him. Look at this dude. Yeah. It's all those dudes. It's the other stuff that they just keep on trucking with. Let's go Jeremy and Mount Juliet up next with a ding-dong. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, guys. So my ding-dong is for Kamal Haddon, number 5 of the University of Tennessee.
Yes, that was mine.
That joker kept getting burned and would turn around and talk like he just did something. He literally looked like a ding-dong out there trash talking.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That was where I was going mine because I was like, that's Haddon, right? He was getting on my nerves. I'm like, good Lord, shut up. Dude, you just should have pointed at the score, bro. Come on, man. You can't even be talking like this, man, at this point in time. Man, you getting toasted. We destroying you cats. Oh, man, he was just going on. He never backed down, though. Well, yeah, he had number 25 on the South Carolina sideline. He had him so lit, he was going to run on the field and they were going to go at it. The coach is like, hey, stop talking. They had to get in his face, like, just leave him alone, man. Just quit talking to that guy. I was like, wow.
99 problems, and a Mitch ain't one. Mitch up next with a ding-dong for us. What up, Mitch?
Is that what you meant?
Where my Mitch is at? Mitch, are you there? Sorry.
Mitch.
I feel like I'm ramping this up for you fantastically.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I got cruising along, ding dong.
Mitch, please.
What's up with the NFL? What's going on? It costs enough to go to the game. Now you got to have Prime Video to watch Thursday night games that aren't really entertaining. Now Thursday night, Thanksgiving night, you got to be a member of Peacock to watch football. I didn't know they needed that much money. Y'all have a good Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, Peacock.
Mitch, I don't know if that's right. I want to say that I looked, and the games are on NBC, Fox, and CBS. I don't think in the past years they've put a game on NFL Network on Thanksgiving, but I don't think they did that. Oh. Now they're greedy, and the games on the internet on Thursday night suck for everybody because you can't even flip channels. Even in the Fansville Dr. Pepper ads, they're trying to log in to watch a game, and one of the guys goes, "Gosh, I miss basic cable." Let's just say this. They're probably going to find more and more ways to hide some of these games behind paywalls. So you got to have, some internet service to see the Sunday morning game, or you got to have Peacock to see the eventually Wednesday or Friday game or whatever's coming down the line, because they're going to start playing more games in Europe. So this is probably, it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. But I do think on Thanksgiving, all the games are on. Like, go and buy the $10 digital antenna at Walmart. And honestly, I think you'll be okay on Thanksgiving. Yeah. And for people who don't know, young people don't know this. ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, UPN, that is free to the world. It's free. You don't have to have cable to get that. You need a $10 digital antenna. You can spend as much as you want on one of those. We all used to have a giant metal rod attached to our houses in the 60s and 70s and 80s. That was your TV antenna.
I had the ears.
Or Brad, well, you lived in the big city. I lived in the middle of nowhere. You have a metal pole attached to your house to get the TV channels from an hour away in Memphis. But you had the rabbit ears. Well, you can still buy the modern version of the rabbit ears. It's all free, kids. It's all free. Team Leader 2010 says NBC will carry it and stream it on Peacock. So I think our guy's okay. You guys want to share your ding-dongs? And then we'll get this question from Trey. And it says Gallane. I'm sure that is Gallatin. Gallane sounds
I left the T out.
That's fine. All right, Trey, hold on.
He was typing fast. So he meant the button didn't
work. So have we already heard yours? Is it Kamal Haddon?
Well, that was going to be my ding dong. I want to think of another one, though. Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to come up with
that. That was going to be mine.
What?
Yeah. That was going to be my ding dong.
He was getting on my nerves.
He was the dingest of dongs this weekend.
Like, how are you talking smack?
The dingest of dongs. How is nobody on the phone saying A.J. Brown?
Oh, because of what he didn't do? He didn't do well?
No, not since his Twitter fingers tweeted his fingers about nobody could get open for the Titans. So I'm looking for a ding dong, and I'm scouring Twitter for ding dong material.
Oh,
and then I find this. It's a tweet from Gabe Greer. Gabe, if you're listening, thank you. I've given you credit. Gabe Greer on Twitter. Since A.J. Brown's tweet, Traylon Burks, 10 receptions for 135 yards. Robert Woods, 8 receptions for 79 yards. NWI, 7 for 147 and 2 TDs. A.J. Brown, 6 receptions for 67 yards. And he also had a fumble that almost lost Philly the game against the Colts. Colts almost beat Philly. They did not, but they almost did. And as I look at this, the way my Twitter screen is on this iPad, it has what's happening, sports trending, A.J. Brown. He is also trending for all the wrong reasons because he fumbled in that game.
Oh, yeah.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
So, man, sometimes, stop tweeting about your old girlfriend,
Mm-hmm. It's over.
It's over. Y'all broke up. It's over. Just keep it moving. Nobody even cares anymore. But that's pretty rough when all these dudes have had more action than you have in the next 2 games combined. Traylon, Robert, and NWI all have you beaten. Let's get this. Let's get if you
watch this. The tweet by Zach Wilson. I mean, not the tweet, but his conversation when they interviewed somebody tweeted out what he said, and my man Sauce Gardner liked it.
Yes. And then he tweeted, "It was a mistake. I didn't even know that I liked this until y'all brought it up."
I just saw my name, and I just I didn't even know. Yeah, he knew.
100% he knew.
He knew.
At what point do things become contentious in a locker room when they got 3 points that they're scoring, and then the quarterback goes, "I don't see any problems," or "No, do you see any problem?" No. At what point is a defender when that guy walks to the locker room, you're like, "Hey, man, you got to get it together"?
Well, we had I don't know if it's considered a ding dong, but Melvin Gordon was released.
Yep.
That is ding dongish. Right there. Remember, he was trying to get that new contract from the Chargers. They never gave it to him. They got rid of him in the same division. And he has turned out exactly what they thought he was.
And they got a running back they put on IR today.
Yeah, for ankle sprain.
It will be fine without you.
Dang.
It's like when the Titans cut Vic Beasley and let Kamale Correa walk. Remember, we were they're running out of bodies. It's like, sorry, man, you can go if you want to go. And just play with nobody. Get Blaine back out here. Let him rush the passer.
Oh, yeah, right.
Let's get Trey. All right, that's our ding-dongs. We still got a couple minutes if you want to call in with a ding-dong of the week or hit us on the Zone TV chat if you would like to. Emmett in the Zone TV chat says, my ding-dong of the week is Jeremy Banks.
Yeah.
Let's get this question from
definitely qualifies.
Trey and Gallatin has a question for the Hitman. Hashtag Ask the Hitman. What's up, Trey?
Hey, man, I'd kind of a ding-dong of the week, but also, like I said, just to call in to talk to Blaine. Did you ever play against not just one-time MVP, but two-time MVP, 2 consecutive years, and see him go to throw a pass down the middle to a wide-open receiver and think, nope, never mind, I better not cover that guy? Like you did.
I wasn't that smart enough. I wasn't smart enough to not get out of the screen, so I definitely was chasing if that happened. No, that never happened.
If you're talking about a ding-dong of the week, man, I mean, how does Aaron Rodgers screw up that many times during a game when he's calling out his receivers? Mm-hmm. And as a Packers fan in Nashville, I've heard it all this week. And I just wanted to see what you thought about him and what he's doing, and if he's done or if he's just done with the Packers. So.
Oh, okay. No, I definitely have my opinion. I just, I think he made some missteps on his leadership style with this young new generation, especially his young receivers. And then he kind of threw them under the bus from their minds, him strategically thinking he's motivating them instead of keeping everything in-house. And I think then he kind of retract and try to go back. I think he's missing passes because he's still making phenomenal throws. I think the inconsistency starts with, I think he's got something wrong with one of his fingers on his throwing hand. And so he'll never make that excuse, but because he was missing guys wide open. Like it was bouncing on a dig route to, I think it was Watkins or somebody. And he missed I think it was probably 4 throws. And it could have been really impactful in that game for first downs. So it was abnormal. I don't think he's done, though. But there's a lot of rumors out there, though, that he may be traded in the offseason. So I'm interested to see. Yeah, especially if they keep going on this road of losing, do you then play Love to make him trade bait or see what you got? And then how do you parlay that to Rodgers? Basically, we're going to sit you to see what we got in this kid. So I don't know how that's going to play out. He doesn't seem like he's that tight. And they gave a boatload for him. $50 million? What is he making?
Yeah, he is making all of the money.
Aaron Rodgers is one of and I love him as a player, but, man, he's one of those guys that he wants to be the smartest guy in the room. Yeah, he wants to show you that, too. So I think that kind of backfired on him a little bit there with the younger receivers.
Let's hope this call doesn't backfire. Nathan up next in Clarksville with a ding-dong call. Again, Predators tickets on the line, 615-737-1045. What you got, Nathaniel?
My biggest ding-dong would have to be the Jets punter. You should never punted to that guy.
Boy, what a way to lose a game. And there was
there was a ding-dong on that play. Who made that block? It was an illegal block.
Right between the numbers.
They say, that was a side, but, man, I don't know. He didn't even need to make the block. No. The guy was 10 yards ahead of him.
What if you throw the flag there? That would have been amazing.
We had some ding-dongish people I played with that would done the same thing. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, that was a ding-dong play. Luckily, he got away with it. I'm going to give a ding-dong, not necessarily to myself, but I made an assumption, never said this on air, but that Tennessee would just win the rest of their games. Like, I made that assumption. Like, based off how they've played all season. And that team there, I don't know what team that was, at least defensively. I hadn't seen that team all year. I had never seen that team like that.
That looked like a team that thought it was going to win the rest of its games.
They weren't getting pass rush, couldn't cover, all that. They would find a way to get a turnover and make the field short and help their offense score more points. Man, I assumed that, they're going to play up to that level. I trusted in the coaches and that they were going to go perform. Man, I was stunned, man. Now I'm up here backpedaling like, man, this Vandy game may be a game. Depending on how their defense plays, Vandy's defense plays, they're going to have a shot. Which I would have never thought 5 weeks ago.
Well, if Milton doesn't get more accurate than he was,
he's going to miss some throws.
He's going to miss some throws. And Vandy is playing with the most extreme. And I know, don't laugh. I mean, some Vol fans may be like, are you kidding me? Hey, it is. You got a team real disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a good thing they're going to come out fired up, but boy, We don't know how this settles into the team and how it's impacted them.
Yeah.
But he did say Banks would be available this week, though.
Yes.
So maybe he just had a calf injury.
Ryan and Shebville, Nick and Jolton, hold on. We'll take your calls when we come back. Also, Lucas Panziga looks disgusted, and he is watching the World Cup. He looks really disgusted.
Looks stressed out.
A disgusted, stressed out World Cup update next from Lucas. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Once you dig into our show, you'll be glad that you did. We'll get to the ding-dong calls, but first, a very angry and demonstrative Lucas Panzica in the studio with a World Cup update. And Lucas, before you give this, I have a stat just for you. Just 8 of the 73 teams that have lost their opening match in the last 6 World Cups have advanced out of group play. Yep, there's your stat.
Opening match is huge.
Got to tell us.
88th minute right now. USA and Wales are tied at 1. USA opened the scoring in the first half on a great ball down the middle by Christian Pulisic, scored by Tim Weah, and Wales. Sorry, I'm reacting in real time here. Nashville Soccer Club's Walker Zimmerman with a tackle in the box against Wales star Gareth Bale. Penalty kick to Wales just a few moments ago, and Bale hammered it home, so it's a tie game 1-1, and both teams looking it's end to end right now. USA pushing for a winner in the 89th minute. Should they beat Wales? I mean, if the USA is a SEC team, what is Wales? Wales is that's a fantastic question. They should beat Wales, but Wales is just a pain in the what to play against. So they're like Navy. Yes. Yes, okay. They're like, who did Navy beat? UCF. They beat UCF. It's like UCF. UCF was going to go to the Cotton Bowl. Not it's anymore. Like UCF, who has all that description might be more, because Wales has a guy that can be a difference maker in Gareth Bale at any given moment. But they want to get settled into a low block, absorb all your pressure, and then hit you on a break, force a mistake, which is what they've done here. And, a draw here would not be the end of the world. England game coming up Friday, that looms large. Yeah. But there's no question. You get 3 points in the first game, you're in a fantastic position. Well, Lucas will eagerly let you know. All right, 3 more ding-dong calls. We will pick a winner. Let's get Ryan in Shebville first. Hello, Ryan.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Man, we're good.
Great.
How are you?
Doing good. I've got 2 ding-dongs, and if they're true, they're going to turn into dong dings, but the first one goes to our good friend to the state of Tennessee, Lane Kiffin, for even agreeing to talk to Auburn University about becoming their next head coach. If you think they're going to treat you any differently than they've treated their past 4 or 5 coaches, then you truly are a ding dong. And Auburn University, you're a ding-dong as well for thinking that Lane Kiffin isn't just going to use you as a stepping stone to the next big gig, because he's not going to stay there. So, ding-dongs, you deserve each other, and this could only be better if this was 3HL doing it, and I got to listen to Don cry and explain why this is a great move for both people. But y'all have a great day. Go USA. Need these 3 points.
Sure do. Be nice to Babsy. Nick in Jolton with a ding-dong, the penultimate ding-dong of the program before Paul. What's up, Nick?
Yes, my ding-dong of the week, guys, is it's got to be William Bryce Stadium. I know I'm going to sound like a homer here, but where's the injury cart? I mean, come on. We got guys with torn ACLs walking off the field, so that's got to be my ding-dong of the week. Hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving coming up. Thank you.
Yeah, the side of Hendon Hooker having to walk. They got no golf cart available there?
No, that was...
Come on, man.
Yeah, that was...
Come on, man.
I'm like, dang.
Yeah, that was just... that was bad. Paul in Hendersonville with a final ding-dong for the Mark Spain ding-dong of the week segment on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Hello, Paul.
Hey, guys. So my biggest ding-dong of the week is Todd Downing for the Tennessee Titans. This guy, he's getting a lot of heat for the year about the offense, and then all of a sudden our offense is doing very well against the Packers, and this guy, he ends up getting caught for DUI. I think that's the most biggest ding-dong of the week. I mean, this guy lost all the heat with a great offense game, and then all of a sudden he gets caught for DUI. I'm going to listen to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, he was celebrating. Too much.
We may have to. Do we need to huddle for the ding dong after the show and then award the ding dong post show?
We got 45 seconds to give it out. Personally, I think Adam and Zach Wilson was a good call.
That was a good call.
Yeah.
Joey went with Kamal Haddon.
Also a good one.
Nathaniel, the Jets punter, like, hey, man, just punt it anywhere except right to that guy. With 5 seconds left, they won on a punt return. Ryan, Lane Kiffin, and Auburn. Nick, South Carolina without a cart. That was pretty good one. Paul, Todd Downing, Eric took himself out of the running for the tickets. He did not want a prize for his ding dong.
Oh, so where you go?
I'm voting Adam with Zach Wilson. I thought that was a good shout. Zach Wilson, when asked, do you feel like you let your defense down? Said, nope.
You pick one, then I'm going to be the tiebreaker between
tiebreaker.
But Haddon is also, I mean, that's up there. That was my ding dong.
I might go Nathaniel, the Jets punter. Like, just punted anywhere but right to the guy. And I know you're expecting guys to cover. Oh, he didn't want the tickets. Okay, then I'll go with go with Adam then.
Yeah, there we go.
Adam wins. There you go. Adam headed to the Predators game.
Man, we got that fresh ding dong mohawk. We got that fresh ding dong mohawk over there, Joe. That thing is fresh, man. He got that thing lit right now.
All right,
It's
Joe.
spiked.
Hunk is in the studio ready to rock and roll the 3HL crew. They are coming up next. I'm sure they will have full reactions to everything that happened this weekend in college football. You can count on that. But we got to go.
Yeah, I'm coming in with a mohawk tomorrow.
Me too. Happy Thanksgiving.
But in the meantime.
In between time.
Peace.